and the new Patriotic Party administration. It is an election for change, to reset Ghana's narrative and effect a course correction from our disastrous trajectory. This change is ordained by God. It is ordained by God to relieve our people from the hardship and poverty that has been inflicted by President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia's reckless administration. That change will put Ghana back on a path of progress and prosperity, enabling us to build the Ghana we want and create well-paying jobs for the young people of this country through the 24-hour economy initiative and many other novel policies to be outlawed in the NDC manifesto soon. This change will also see the most far-reaching and detailed investigation of the many allegations of corruption and scandals leveled against public officials and their families and friends. This change will help to abort this administration's plan to foist the pliant vice president on us, to cover up for them, and thereby escape the searing scrutiny of accountability. But as I have stated, this hot spotlight of accountability is reserved not only for appointees of this administration, it will also be available to sanctioned persons in my own administration who engage in similar conduct. The same anti-corruption strategies and instruments I shall deploy to measure and punish the NPP government appointees will also be applicable to my own appointees. In short, in Ghanaian parlance, Aba Yadebo Techino, Yadebebo Banso. My dear youth, the best of Ghana is yet to come, and I have hope for the future, particularly as I return to the presidency as the experienced, visionary, and decisive leader ready to build the Ghana we want together with you. The Electoral Commission has decided to conduct a mop-up voter registration exercise between 1st August to 3rd August, realizing that many could not participate in the just completed limited registration exercise. I still do not understand why the Electoral Commission in cahoots with government insists it will not bring the voters' registration centers to the doorstep of the people as much as possible in order that all of you can have the opportunity to register. These are young people, many of whom are unemployed and are being taken care of by their suffering parents. They cannot afford the cost of transportation from their homes to the distant district registration offices, not to mention the long queues, the intentional intimidation that takes place by tags and network anomalies that have plagued the exercise ever so often. Even after successfully arriving at the registration center, many of you have had to cope with the disappointment of undue delays. My fellow Ghanaians, just place yourself in the shoes of these young people within the needless and avoidable ordeal that they have to face, of persons, say, between 18 and 25 years without a passport or a Ghana card. If such a young lady or young man manages to secure 2 guarantors, pays for their transportation to accompany them to a registration center, and due to network failure and postponements, this young person is unable to register via the guarantor system, what is the likelihood that he or she will return another day to register with these same 2 guarantors? And that is what leads to what is called voter suppression. And this is why I continue to urge the EC to prevent voter suppression by extending the mop-up exercise beyond its district offices to include all the hard-to-reach areas. This will enable Ghanaians who have turned 18 or more but are unregistered to register from the 1st to the 3rd of August. However, let me assure you that no matter the challenges or artificial obstacles they erect in your path to prevent you from exercising your franchise, my victory in the polls shall be your victory. It shall be a victory for all the suffering Ghanaians. It will be a victory for all of us. And I'm sure that's going to happen on 7th December this year. There's a rising feeling of frustration and anger bubbling up amongst our young people. Justifiable anger and frustration against this failed administration. It is anger against the economic mismanagement, the hardships, the widening inequalities in our country, and the unprecedented corruption that has become the signature of this government. And yes, you have every right to be angry and disappointed in this government. It is understandable because this government has received more funds than any other government in the history of our country, including the windfall that they got from the COVID-19 pandemic, which they willfully mismanaged. The anger of the young people of Ghana is perfectly understandable because they face a real and present danger of unprecedented permanent unemployment if things do not change dramatically. The real possibility exists of some persons attaining the pension age of 60 without ever being employed if the NPP government continues to stay in power. Meanwhile, for those in employment and contributing to SNIT, there is no guarantee that the trust can continue paying your pension claims when you proceed on retirement. And let me add that the anger of the youth against the Bawumia-led economic management team that has heaped daily hardships on Ghanaians is also understandable, because of the combined effect of increasing our national debt from 120 billion at the end of 2016 to a staggering 658.6 billion cedis today. To put it simply, our national debt of 120 billion Ghana cedis in 2016 shared amongst our population meant that each of us owed 4,000 Ghana cedis. Today, our national public debt of 658 billion cedis shared amongst our population means that every Ghanaian owes 22,000 cedis. The youth are also right to be angry at how the domestic debt exchange, the haircuts, when we said there were going to be haircuts, the president said there will be no haircuts. The domestic debt exchange program has conspired to impoverish their parents, grandparents, and their benefactors. Crude financial haircuts and other tax measures have collapsed many businesses that could have created jobs for the teeming youthful population. It looks like a hopeless economic situation. The youth are also angry at the poorly thought through banking sector clean-out, which led to the loss of more than 10,000 jobs and caused Ghana to incur a debt of 25 billion Ghana cedis. Notwithstanding all these socio-economic difficulties, the young people continue to observe the opulence of the administration's officials and their families, chartering private jets at $20,000 an hour for trips that our own Falcon executive jet could have done. And as the Minister for Defense explained it, because it had no shower for presidential baths. Ghana's youth have further experienced how a minister could stash millions of dollars in her home. And only God knows the full extent of Ghanaians' taxpayers' money that is stashed away by many others in this Akufo-Addo and Bawumia-led government. But I say to the good people of Ghana that working with Ghanaians and the international and anti-corruption partners, we shall do all that is humanly possible to retrieve such wrongly acquired wealth. The inequality and selective justice of this government are galling. Otherwise, how could Hawa Kumsin, who fired a weapon at a registration center and boasted about it, walk away free, and a parliamentary candidate for Ewutu Senya East is detained partly because the very police that issued her with a firearms license misspelled her name? If the government was seeking to break the spirit of Nakoyo with that politically organized arrest, they rather handed over the Ewutu Senya East parliamentary seat to the young woman who by all standards towers over and above the incumbent. My dear youth, while I agree with your justifiable anger and disappointment, I urge you to keep hope alive. Have faith in God and the power of your thumb. Ghanaians are in search of hope. Hope they can believe in. Hope with the assurance that Ghana will be reset onto the path of progress and prosperity. Hope knowing that as young people they can live in safe neighborhoods and earn a living if they study hard, work hard, and live as law-abiding citizens. This is what Ghanaians are yearning for. And this is exactly what I and the NDC are presenting to you in this election of 2024. Exercise your franchise by voting for me, John Mahama, on 7th December this year, and for the NDC parliamentary candidates in your constituency. As your selfless, truthful, experienced and visionary leader, I need your vote to reset Ghana. And I assure you that I'll work with you to build a country of shared growth and prosperity. By resetting Ghana, we will repair the dangerous damage that has been done to our country's economy and people. Businessmen and women who have been given raw deals by this government's apparatchiks will have their say and can be assured of restoration. Collapsed banks and financial institutions shall be restored after a thorough and unbiased assessment. We will provide decent and well-paying jobs through my 24-hour economy initiative. And let me be clear, I am utterly appalled and disappointed by the unprecedented unemployment rate we're seeing today. Perhaps if the government had not jettisoned the 40-year National Development Plan, which was developed by the NDPC during my presidency, they would have adopted and implemented my 24-hour economy initiative, which was contained in that document. And that would have saved Ghanaians from these levels of unprecedented unemployment. But as the saying goes, elections come with consequences. The stark reality is that the current 8-hour working system is inadequate to create the production, productivity, and well-paying jobs required for the revival of Ghana's currently bankrupt economy. It is also inadequate to produce enough goods and services for export. My young people, extraordinary times require extraordinary interventions for extraordinary results. The 24-hour economy initiative is the answer for now and the future. It will create an enabling environment with deliberate policies for business, companies and government institutions to operate 24/7 in a 3-8-hour shift system. In addition to the traditional 8-hour system, the 2 additional work shifts that my administration will introduce will double and sometimes triple or quadruple the number of jobs that participate in public and private entities that we currently have. This is the 24-hour economy optimization strategy, giving more to society, providing efficient service delivery, and generating decent and well-paying jobs. The benefits of this system will include, but not limited to, 24-hour port and harbor services, 24-hour customs services, 24-hour DVLA services, 24-hour agro-processing factories, 24-hour manufacturing industries, 24-hour construction companies, 24-hour diversified sanitation and waste management services, 24-hour financial institutions, 24-hour healthcare services, not just emergency care, 24-hour community pharmacy care, 24-hour tourism, creative arts and entertainment industry services, and 24-hour retail centers, and more and more and more. My track record in infrastructure development is well acknowledged, and we shall provide more. It is a track record that built the Ghana National Gas Company and many power plants to fix Dumso. A solid track record of building ultramodern hospitals such as the University of Ghana Medical Center, the Ridge Hospital, the Bank Hospital, the Maritime Hospital, the Dodowa Hospital, and several others across the length and breadth of this country. Whenever I visit patients in these hospitals or read reviews on people's lived experiences at the University of Ghana Medical Center, I feel proud of our work in government. And the NDC is poised to do more. My track record is the urgently needed track record, fueled by vision and experience, that also provided roads, provided interchanges and schools, constructed Terminal 3 at the Kotoka International Airport, transformed Tamale and Kumasi airports into international airports to also operate at night, and secured funding to build new terminals for both Tamale and Kumasi airports, and innovative thinking that secured us one of the most efficient ports in Africa, built us one of the biggest modern markets, KJTI and Kumasi. And I tell you, we'll do much more. We will start the plans and feasibility for the establishment of a new city to which we would move government services and agencies in order to decongest our capital city, Accra. We'll redesign growing metropolises like Aflawo, Kaswa, and others across the country into modern markets and trading centers. As has already been estimated, the Ghana Police Service alone, at its present capacity, will require nearly 25,000 new and additional personnel to manage the 24-hour economy's additional working shifts. And keep in mind that the police service, as it stands now, even without the 24-hour economic initiative, already requires additional staff and motivation to meet the optimum police-to-population ratio. We will adopt a multi-stakeholder approach because the beneficiaries of the 24-hour economy are diverse. Unemployed youth, including unemployed graduates, farmers, traders, small and medium-scale businesses, students who need vacation jobs, and the underemployed. No one will be left out. I'm determined to provide the necessary incentives such as favorable tax measures, cheaper and reliable power, financial support through the Ghana Exim Bank, oil revenue, and the National Women's Bank, which we will establish to soften the ground for both public and private participants who sign up to the 24-hour economy initiative.